Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
How's everybody this morning?
Tired.
Okay. Welcome to Wellness Management and Recovery. Today we're going to start on Chapter 3, which is mental health definitions. Okay. I think the point of this chapter is for everyone to know exactly what their disability is. This section is, they want everyone to define their mental illness differently based on their culture and life experience. I can work with my doctor to learn more about my diagnosis. I'm not alone. I can become an expert on my mental illness. My feelings are real. Stigma hurts. I can unlearn stigma, and I can help others unlearn stigma. Okay? So, the purpose of this particular chapter is for you to learn how to kind of advocate for yourself. Who knows what their mental illness is? Who knows what all of their mental illnesses are? Who knows what their triggers are? Okay? These are things we need to know. We need to know exactly what our mental illness is. And if we don't, we need to ask our doctors. We need to write questions down. So when you go to the doctor, everything just escapes me when I get in front of the doctors for some reason. Everything just goes out the window until I'm back home and say to myself, oh, I forgot to ask my doctor about this. So, write your questions down. Journalize what your symptoms are. Okay? If you have a problem, it should come with symptoms. So, kind of journalize what your symptoms are and take it to the doctor and ask questions. Know what is going on with your body. And learn some exercises to combat that. Remember, I'm still going to ask you for a relaxation tip. That hasn't changed. So, in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to ask you what your tip is, relaxation tip, and you're going to share it with the class. Okay, so I hope everybody is still working on that. So, what we were talking about. Knowing exactly what your mental illness is. Advocating for yourself to find out what your mental illness is. We should know our bodies better than anyone else. We should know exactly what happens in our mental illness. We should have a full grasp on what our mental illness is, how it affects us, and what to do to compensate for it. So, this chapter kind of addresses that. Asking your doctor. Again, you two need to be on the same page. And if you're not, then you need to either report or you would need to find a doctor that'll meet your needs. It's your needs that need to be met, not the doctor's. It's your needs that need to be met. And if you're not getting the correct diagnosis, then there's an issue. There's something going wrong, okay? So, I want you to get with your doctor, and I want you to find out exactly what's going on. Who has a doctor's appointment coming up? Okay? Everybody, doctor's appointment? Give me some questions you want to ask your doctor. Give me a question that's on your mind right now that you want to ask your doctor. Yes. Yeah.
Me?
Yes.
I did. You just put me on the spot.
I did. I did.
I don't know a question to ask my doctor because I don't ask them. I don't write down questions
Why not?
because I never really thought about that.
Okay. If you had a chance to ask your doctor something, what would it be?
To put me on a sleeping medication.
Okay. All right. So you're having trouble sleeping. Okay. This is what we need to make sure our doctor knows. That we are having trouble sleeping. That we would like something to aid us in sleeping. How many times have you told your doctor this?
Twice.
Twice. And what has been the result?
Nothing.
Nothing. But you're in a group home setting, correct?
No, I'm not.
You're not. You're on your own.
Yes.
Okay. So,
But I have caregivers that come in and help me.
okay. And have they made any suggestions about you getting to sleep or?
They don't sit in on the appointments.
Okay, of course they don't. But I'm saying, have they made any recommendations to you?
They haven't. No.
Okay, all right. So we need to get more clarity on what's going on and why.
Okay.
Okay?
I didn't
Dee
mean
Dee.
to interrupt you that way.
No problem. Dee Dee, give me a question you want to ask your doctor that you haven't asked. That's not personal, but give me something you want to know, and you're not going to take no for an answer.
What is my actual diagnosis?
Right. Okay. How many doctors have you seen that has given you a diagnosis, and it's the same diagnosis that you feel comfortable with?
Well, I've had 18 doctors, but only 2 have.
Okay, only 2. All right. So, are you comfortable? Not, you'll never be comfortable with illness, but are you comfortable that you know exactly what diagnosis you have?
No, because I don't think it fits me.
It doesn't fit you. Okay. So,
I'm not showing the classical signs.
Okay.
I looked it up and wasn't showing classical signs.
and you have no way of switching your caregiver at this point, right?
You mean my aides or
No.
doctor?
Your doctor.
No, I don't because of Molina and GCB has me on a probation thing
Oh,
from the
wow.
stuff I did.
Okay, again, we need to find ways to address that. We need to find an advocate who will help you address these issues. And it exists. We can't just accept what the doctor gives us. We just can't accept that. Okay, we have to know exactly what's going on with us. So, Bob, if you had a question that you wanted to ask your doctor, and I'm coming around the room, so think, what would that question be?
Sorry to interrupt you before. I'm sorry if I interrupted you before.
Don't worry about that, Bob. Just
What I wanted to say is, that's true, you would have more knowledge of your psychiatric illness than everyone else would. But wouldn't your psychiatrist have more of a knowledge of what that psychiatric illness is that you have?
I would agree with that. It's up to us to make sure we know
I mean,
exactly.
You're yourself, and you would know better than other people.
Well, my symptoms does match my mental illness. So,
But I would think wouldn't a psychiatrist, since he's a psychiatrist, most of our medical doctors have more of a knowledge of that illness.
okay, again, that doesn't mean I got the right diagnosis coming out of the military, because I didn't. It wasn't until later that I got the correct diagnosis. So again, not all the times are doctors right.
Some
We
doctors
go
have
in and we present what our symptoms are, but we don't give the doctor a full account of what's going on
It's
with
not like
us.
a doctor watches us day in and day
Absolutely.
out and knows exactly who and what we are. So
A-
they just give
absolutely.
you the diagnosis they think it is. It doesn't mean it's what
It's
it is.
the correct
You have
diagnosis.
to let them know that yes or no, I believe what you're saying is true.
Right.
And you only best know what it is.
I agree. And your symptoms have to match the classic diagnosis that you get. If I have symptoms that don't match, I'm going to question. You know, I'm going to question, well, I don't particularly have these symptoms. Why would I have a diagnosis such as this one?
How she's feeling.
Absolutely. So, all right, Jay.
I hadn't thought about a question because my appointment's this month. But now that you mention it, I would have gone by the symptoms I had and then see if if I needed another diagnosis.
Absolutely.
And what kind of medications. They've done so much research on these medications. I've been through a battery of medications.
Okay.
And what medications would be helping me with the symptoms I have. You know, sleeping's another one. I mean,
Right.
you know, I was on Ambien there for about 10 years, and it worked like a dream, you know, I
Right.
can take it every night, you know, maybe twice a week to keep me on schedule. And then I developed the adverse effects to it, so they had to take me off of it. Now, for about 20 years, I'm back to not sleeping, but, you know, maybe an hour a night, if that much, you know,
Oh,
for days
wow.
without me sleep.
Okay.
So, so I do take a better account of the symptoms I have, right down to the last detail, because I'm not in the
Absolutely.
workforce right now. So I'm
Absolutely.
actually paying more attention to what's going on with me, rather than constantly working and my attention being taken elsewhere.
All right.
And,
gotcha.
and I think it'll be a lot more clear right now and get a diagnosis and medication regime that's gonna work for me.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. Miss Cece, give me a question that you would ask your doctor if you had a chance right now. What question are you going to ask on your next visit?
I don't know what question I'll ask the next visit, because I had a visit recently and I talked thoroughly
Okay.
with all my physicians.
Okay.
Otherwise, I don't have them as a physician.
Right.
One thing we've got to remember, just as people change, your diagnosis changes.
Absolutely.
oh, I
Absolutely.
didn't know that.
Oh,
Okay.
yes, you can go in as one thing, and then maybe, you know, even after you have the medicine or you don't have the medicine, because it's a touchy-feel, see and go type of thing as to what's going to work with you, and your diagnosis can change.
Okay.
And I think that's another important thing, reason for people to ask.
Right. It's important to know. That's important to know. If in fact you do develop other symptoms and other things start to go wrong, you have to know exactly what's going on in your body. You have to know. These are things that we have to ask ourselves. This isn't something that randomly happens and we don't think about them or worry about them. We have to know these things. All right? So, Prince. Oh, you got one more
other
thing?
And I think Dee Dee had mentioned this before, it's important for everyone to get a DNA profile on what medicines are good for you, as far as your body, and as far as you are, period. That's very
DNA
important.
gening
'Cause-
test.
Huh?
The DNA gening test?
Oh, there wasn't any such a thing when I was diagnosed,
Well,
so
they-
that was
It just
great.
recently happened in the last
Yeah.
3 or 4 years.
Yeah, that's what
I just
Right.
got mine, but it's kind of confusing because I have a lot of allergies. And it's saying, yes, this med'll work when I break out. It doesn't work.
Right. But it gives you a little guideline, a little bit more
Okay.
help as
All
to
right.
what would be good for you, because a lot of people are on medicines that the length of time that you take the medicine, the dosage,
Yeah.
it actually stops working for you.
No, yeah, absolutely.
And,
And medication does change.
A change should be made, and
Yes.
don't be afraid to talk to your doctor, because the doctor's working for you.
I agree.
It's your body, it's your time, you want to do the best that you can do for yourself, and you want to be the best person you can be on any given day. And the only way that's going to be done is having a care plan that's unique to you, that has been made for you. I'm not just talking to you, but it's important. And I think people from time to time don't want to, are afraid of doctors. Whatever I get, I look it up.
Me too. Me too. I want to know.
I want to know what effects it's going to have, but a lot of people just go on and take this stuff. Don't realize, this is one little case, my case with my cardiology medicine. I was the one that found out that one of the mental health meds counteracted.
Okay.
And what we had to do was just taper the doses, and also the way you take your meds.
Okay. Yeah.
Taking them with water, don't take them with pop, orange juice and stuff, because
Or alcohol.
well, yeah, alcohol, because a lot of things will counteract what the medicine is actually
Absolutely.
supposed to do.
Absolutely.
So that's all I'm saying.
I couldn't say that any better. I couldn't have said that any better. Okay. So, Prince, give me a question you want to know.
You know, I just seen my doctor last week, and yeah, we talk about a lot of different things, but usually he always asks me, "Have you been to your other doctor for this? Have you done that?" So sometimes I might say, "No, I hadn't seen him yet, but I will be seeing him." So he kind of keeps up with my appointments.
Yeah,
To make sure that I'm doing them and everything.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And this last time, he told me, he said, "Oh, you doing good. You done seen that doctor, and you getting ready to see another one tomorrow."
Yeah.
And so, we go over stuff like that.
Okay.
But as far as taking all these different medicines, one thing that I don't do, I don't take all my medicine, put it in my hand, take it at one time.
Okay.
I think a lot of people do, because I've seen a lot of people do that. They have a handful of medicine, they throw all that stuff in their mouth and take it right then.
Okay.
I don't do it.
Okay.
I'll take whatever I gotta take. Say get up in the morning, I might take some medicine about 10 o'clock. Well, that's just that medicine I'll take at 10 o'clock. I may not take the other medicine to maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours
Absolutely.
later.
Absolutely.
I just feel like that makes sense to me to do it that way, rather than to just put all this stuff in my hand, take all of it at one time.
Well, I'm guilty of that. I am guilty of taking all my medicine at one time. Most of my meds I do supposed to take in the morning. So, I'm kind of guilty of and I'm done with it for the day.
Yeah.
So only one of the pills I have to take, I take with food, but everything else I can take on an empty stomach, and I usually do. But that's interesting. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to you. Give me a question. What would you like to know from your doctor at this point right now? Keep it, unpersonal. Just give us something that concerns you.
I think I need a different medication regimen, because I wouldn't have been feeling the way I was feeling and did what I did if
Right,
I was stable.
right. Are you due to see a doctor anytime soon? You're
No.
not? Is there
No.
any way you can sign up for an appointment early?
Yeah.
Is that even a consideration?
Yeah.
Okay, so understanding your mental health is a difficult task, but you have to stay on top of it. There's a reason. There's a reason you start to feel the way you felt, and if we address those reasons before we get to our final outcome, we have a better success rate. Okay, when we start to feel different, then we need to take action. Even when we're at our best, we need to make sure we take action. Again, when we start to feel, when I start to feel that depression coming on, I start to take action. I start to make me an action plan, and I follow it. My goals, I write my goals down, and I follow those goals. The exercises that I need to do, I do. I give it all I have to fight my mental illness. I give it all that I have in order to combat that mental illness. Because it's going to happen. I'm going to get depressed. I was depressed a couple of weeks ago, everybody know. I was going through my struggle a couple of weeks ago. I had to make an action plan, which I did. And I must follow now. There's no way of getting around what it is I need to do, because if I don't do it, I'm going to stay in the same place, that dark place that I don't want to go back to. So, my action plan, when I started to feel that depression coming on, I immediately jumped on my action plan. And everybody remember what my one-day goal is. My one-day goal is to get in the shower. I make sure that's the first thing I do every morning on the road to my action plan. So, put those action plans together while you're feeling good. Everybody's feeling tolerable right now of their mental illness. We need to step up with you. We need to find out what's going on with you. But for the most part, you're still smiling. You're still a pleasure to have around. We need to go a little further. And we need to find out exactly why we're feeling the way we feel. We probably know why we feel the way we feel. Sometimes we can't do anything about it. Falling in love with someone and not getting that back. That's depressing.
That is.
And we have to find out what's going on with us. And as soon as we know what's going on with us, we have to make that action plan in order for us to combat it. So, who's feeling just a little bit off in their mental illness right now? I'm still feeling the effects of my situation. I'm still feeling the effects of it. Again, my action plan changes, of course, as I continue to go through it, but that action plan is sound. It is 100% sound on what it is I need to do, and I'm going to follow it all the way through until I get back to feeling good again, and when I get back into the world, become social again, because I've kind of let myself slip. Now, of course, when I'm going through something, I don't shave, and of course, I didn't shave today.
Razor ran away.
Razor ran away. So, I'm still going through my process. I'm still going through my process. I could have got up last night and shaved, but I said to myself, oh, what the heck? Ain't nobody gonna look at me no way. But that's not true. That's not true. I did get the shower. And I said my goal from now on is that I'm going to shave as a condition of one of my goals. Is that I'm gonna stay shaven. I'm gonna stay so fresh and so clean. I'm gonna stay fresh and clean. And I'm gonna follow that. That's part of my goal. I have to follow these goals. Wherever they take me, I have to follow them. So, Larry, you okay over there?
Yeah, I'm doing okay.
Okay, let's see what you got.
Well, I was just like, compiling what there's notes of what they were saying and everything.
Uh-huh.
But I would probably like ask the doctor about, when the meds, actually what I can look at about as far as my meds are concerned.
Mm-hmm.
And also as far as my mental and physical illness as well.
Okay, all right.
Asking to see if we can see if they can look it on the internet.
Okay, right. So, you're gonna advocate for yourself. You're gonna take control. We need to take control of our mental illness. We need to take control of our medical interactions with our doctor. One of the things that I like most about my medical doctor is that my medical doctor looks over my mental health. Find out if I'm going and make sure that everything is okay with me mentally as well as physically. So, he kind of do double duty as far as I'm concerned. Now, my mental health provider, she looks at all my labs, of course. When you're on certain medicines, you have to do blood tests just to make sure everything is working in accordance. I know exactly what side effects my medicines have. And how many of you know exactly what side effects your medicine has? Okay? You need to know that. You need to know that. Okay? I'm going to say this. One of the medicines that I take causes erectile dysfunction. And I think that's a shame to have to live with that. I think that's a shame. Now I've taken different steps and I'm no longer on that medication anymore. Oh, thank God. But I knew exactly what was going on when it was happening. I knew exactly what to expect and what not to expect. So I talked to my doctor and I told him exactly, hey, I can't live like this. I'm not going to commit sexual suicide by taking a medicine that doesn't allow me this particular pleasure. So I had to stand up for myself. I had to ask myself, what am I going to do about this? What is it that I need to do? And I asked my doctor, exactly what can I do? So we started a different medication. And the medication has worked excellent without the side effects. So, I had to advocate for myself. I had to ask myself exactly, what is it that I can do with this particular symptom? Okay? Bob. No,
No,
Bob.
you were performing.
Bob?
You were performing.
Okay, because I was gonna let her go.
Bob?
Okay.
Okay. What I was gonna say, I think what people are referring to is, some doctors are better than others.
Absolutely.
Some are more skilled and have better knowledge in internal medicine than others. And you gotta consider this, there's some doctors that do things against the law or against rules or malpractice that get sent to jail for that.
Okay. All right. All right. Jay.
I like that you brought up sexuality because a lot of the meds I was on in the past,
Mm-hmm.
you know, they advertised it on TV, certain sexual side effects.
Yes.
And it just shut it down.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it was like, at first I thought, well, this is nice, you know, because then I don't feel like I want to go out and start looking for intimacy, because that was the last thing I want. I'm trying to keep myself well, and I
Right.
don't need to be all tangled up with somebody.
Right.
And, but what happened, and, you know, I don't know if it's a permanent situation, but it's like that's a part of our being, that's a part of being alive.
Yeah.
And it was like, I'm not necessarily referring to pleasure, but it's like I was just a neuter.
Right.
It was like I wasn't even a whole person.
Right.
You know, those parts were just for going to the bathroom, and then there was just nothing else there, and it felt like a part of me had been amputated. And so that was one of the things I'm gonna bring up with the doctor this month. It's like, I wanna feel complete again. It's not like I wanna go out and look for a partner, but I wanna feel complete again. It's like there's a part of me that's been cut off, and it never did switch back on.
Okay.
It's
That's
just empty, you know.
that's important.
Yeah, it's like
To
cutting off
know.
a leg or something like that.
Yeah,
you know.
that's important to know. We all are deserving of these emotions. We are deserving of these emotions. And sometimes medication don't allow that to happen. Another thing that I read about medications in women, it can cause sterilization. It can keep you from having babies. A lot of these medications have serious side effects. We have to know what those side effects are. Okay, let's go exactly to the definitions. Okay, because I think it's important. Okay, mental health definitions. Mental health, the successful performance of mental functioning, resulting in productivity, activities,
Productive.
fulfilling relationships with other people, and the ability to adapt, to change, and to cope with adversity. That's what mental health means. Okay? Mental illness. This term refers to all mental disorders, which are health conditions where alterations in thinking, mood, or behavior are associated with distress and impaired functioning. Mental health problems. This refers to less intense signs of symptoms, meaning that they are not strong or don't last too long to meet the criteria for a mental disorder. Okay, so you have mental problems that don't last long enough in order to be diagnosed as a mental illness. Okay, mental illness is a term for mental disorders. Okay, these are alterations in your mood. These are alterations in your behavior. These are also associated with distress and impaired functioning. Okay, so when we have changes in our mood, alterations in our thinking, okay, a lot of times when I became manic, my decision making became challenged. I made some pretty bad decisions when I was manic. That was one of the side effects of my mental illness, is that sometimes I become manic. Okay? So, I have to watch that as well. When I'm at my best, the doctor asked me, well, are you manic? When I'm happy, when I'm feeling good, she has to make sure that this is just a natural occurrence and I'm not manic. So, your doctor will know exactly, and should know exactly what's going on in your body, even when you're at your best, especially when you're at your worst. But even when you're at your best, a doctor should know exactly what you're feeling, how you're feeling, and why you're feeling that way. Okay? So, that's how we take charge of our mental health. Okay? Everybody go to page 2. Diagnostic Assessment. To receive a diagnosis, a clinical interview is scheduled. In the clinical interview, your doctor will identify your symptoms and learn how you are functioning in various areas of your life. Based on the information you provide, the doctor or provider can begin to rule out things, learn about that are common amongst you and others with the same experiences. Okay? That's why I say it's so important that your doctor knows exactly what your symptoms are. Not so he can come to a conclusion, not necessarily, but to actually rule things out. So, given the exact symptoms will help him rule out some things that may not be going on. So again, it's important to know exactly what your symptoms are. A diagnosis is complex and can change over time as symptoms change. That's exactly what Ms. Cece said. That was a very, very well put together question, statement, excuse me. Because it does change as we change. And we have to know these things. We have to know exactly what's changing in our bodies, in our minds, in our lives. We need to know that, okay? A diagnosis is complex and can change over time as symptoms change. Symptoms are the most important clues in diagnosing psychiatric disorder. Symptoms. You have to know what those symptoms are in order for them to make a good diagnosis. Some of the things, common questions asked during a clinical interview is, what type of symptoms do you have? Longevity of the symptoms. How long have you had them? Okay? Level of functioning before symptoms appeared. How were you living? Were you living okay? Was things good? How'd you feel? The doctor needs to know that. Needs to know exactly when you stop feeling that exact way. Okay? Level of functioning before symptoms appeared. Did you take medication? If so, what? Did your symptoms improve? How soon did they improve? Did any symptoms disappear totally? Okay, we need to know that. If symptoms start to relieve themselves of medication, it's a good sign. That's a good sign. If in fact you totally lose one of the symptoms, the doctor needs to know that as well. Again, not just to make a diagnosis, but to rule things out. Okay? How old were you when the symptoms first appeared? Okay? Did anyone in your family complain or have the same symptoms? Okay? Sometimes symptoms occur in more than just one family member. Okay? It can be hereditary. Okay? Role play. I'm not allowed to feel. The following role play demonstrates how important it is for persons living with a psychiatric disorder to teach others how to be supportive. It is our responsibility to teach others about how our disorder impacts us on a daily basis. Conduct this role play in 2 parts. The first time through, no teaching occurs. The second time through, the friend sees an opportunity to share how comments made are harmful and helpful. The following information is provided to guide you through the role play. Okay, so we're going to do some role playing. Who wants to be friend number 1? Okay, all right, friend number 1. Who wants to be friend number 2? I'm going to pick somebody. I'm going to pick somebody. Come on, Dee Dee.
I had a feeling you were in.
Oh, Dee Dee, all right. Come on, Dee Dee. All right. Friend number 1 is very excited because he or she just received a letter of acceptance to college. He or she shares the great news and enthusiasm with the friend. Friend 2 interrupts and asks questions similar to, have you taken your meds today? Friend 1 becomes very angry and hurt, and as a result, he or she walks away. Okay? All right. So, let's have a role play. Okay? You've just been accepted into college.
Okay.
I want you to be happy and tell Claire 2 how you feel. And she's going to ask you questions based on if you took your meds or not. And you're going to get mad and you're going to walk away. You're going to storm off.
Okay.
You're going to tell her about herself.
Where am I gonna go?
You're not going anywhere. You're going to sit it right there. Because we can't see you anyway. So we won't know if you moved anyway.
Okay.
So, we're going to start doing role play. I think role play is fun.
I shouldn't have volunteered.
You shouldn't have volunteered, but you did. Okay.
I didn't volunteer, I got volunteered.
I volunteered you, Dee Dee, because I knew you'd do it. That's why I volunteered you, because I know you're back. Okay, let's go.
I just gotta accept. Should I tell her right
Yeah,
now?
yeah.
Okay. Should I face her and tell
All
her?
right, here's the role play. All right, go.
I just got accepted into a college.
Well, have you taken your meds today?
Goodbye.
Ah! Okay, that was.
I thought they were supposed to read it.
No, I don't think they were supposed to read it. Because they kind of went over the skit itself. But,
Okay.
sometimes being supportive, responsibility to teach others your disorder and how it impacts you on a daily basis. What would you tell Dee Dee if you had to answer, are you on your medication?
I would say yes.
You would say yes. And how does it make you feel if someone asks you, if you give somebody good news and somebody asks you, well, did you take your medication today? How would that make you feel?
You want the honest truth?
Yes.
I would probably cuss them out.
Okay. I would too. I would too. I would probably cuss them out too. Again, people become offended. So that's why it's important for us to kind of teach people about what our mental illness does for us. Again, I don't know if you remember because it wasn't this class, but one of the policemen says that you have to you have to treat, excuse me is what I'm trying to say, people with mental illness with respect and kindness. You have to be respected. We have to be respected. We have to feel as though we're being respected. If not, we need to ask, why aren't we being respected? So, we need to ask these questions.
Oh,
Okay, let me answer Bob and then I'll come to you. Bob.
Well, as far as causes of psychiatric illnesses or mental problems, the mind is a control center part of the body. And when a person, some people have psychiatric illnesses, there's a chemical misfiring going on in their mind, and that's caused by something's wrong with their body chemistry.
Ah,
That
okay.
has something to do with it.
All right, Jay.
I think what I'm hearing out of this is that the stigma and all around this has to do with, it doesn't matter what you do or say, it has to do with mental illness.
Right.
I mean, if somebody, if like him, you know, oh, I got accepted in college today, did you take your meds? You know, I just told you I got accepted in college.
Right.
What's that got to do with taking
With
meds?
taking meds, absolutely.
And once I had a very bad spasm in my body, and I have a history of going on and off alcohol. I happen to be off of it not right now, but I go through spells where I drink it.
Okay.
And it had nothing to do with alcohol. My body just, I was in a very bad way. My body went into a whole body spasm.
Okay.
And I was walking down the basement steps trying to do the laundry, and I fell down the steps.
Oh, wow.
And somebody may have said, you know, the kind of thing I get is, were you drunk? And I didn't have a drop of alcohol in me
Okay.
for days. You know, it's
Yeah.
like, I fell down the
Okay.
basement. They don't hear that I
Right.
fell down the basement steps. They don't hear that he got accepted into college. It's like, did you take your meds?
Did you? Yeah.
You're just
Yeah.
this crazy person that
Yeah.
gets meds.
Definitely. Have you been drinking?
Yeah.
Instead of asking you, are you okay?
Yeah, are you okay?
Are you okay? Ask me that.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you. Congratulations. Okay, I want to read this. Assumption for learning and understanding stigma. Stigma is a human condition that hurts everyone. It hurts those who are targeted of are targets of stigma more directly and with greater intensity. Internalized stigma is a major block to personal growth and development. We each stand in the shoes of victims and predators of stigma. It is not our differences, but our attitudes about our differences. We have learned stigma. We can unlearn it. What is stigma? Stigma equals prejudice plus power. I think that's deep. I think that is deep. I'm going to say that again. Stigma equals prejudice plus power. Okay? Prejudice plus power towards a person with mental illness penetrates stigma and increases social isolation. Isolation.
That perpetuates.
Perpetuates.
Yeah, that. If it
Stigma.
penetrated stigma, get rid of it.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay, everybody go to the next page. Okay? The stigma cycle, a human condition. Okay? First of all, socialization. Many of us here are socialized people. Who likes to socialize besides me? I do. I like to entertain. I like to have friends over, have a couple of beers, watch the football game. I like to do that. But when I'm in my mental illness, I start to isolate. So I start to lose contact with my friends. One of the things, and one of the positive points is that my brother knows when something's not going right. And he'll call and ask me, okay, what's going on with you? So my support system has to be aware of what's going on with you. I always ask who has a great support system. I do. I have a great support system. And if you don't have one, you need to get one. Doesn't always have to be family.
They're hard to come by.
It doesn't always have to be family.
They really are, because a lot of people are just, they're a little bit too much. I mean, you're supposed to be into yourself, but they're a little bit too much into themselves.
Okay.
They don't see you, and if you trying to, for instance, trying to get them to show you something that you need to know,
Right.
They do know it.
Okay.
Hey, they ain't gonna show you nothing.
Right.
So too bad for you if you don't know it. You know.
Okay.
I run into that problem a lot with people, and I say, well, okay, that's cool. I'll try to figure it out myself, and I may not figure it out, but I'll try though.
Okay.
I'm not gonna let you have me feeling like, well, you just can't do it because I ain't gonna show it to you. I ain't gonna feel that way. I'm gonna do whatever I can to try to do it. And even if I can't get it done, at least I know one thing, I
Okay.
tried.
All right. So we're gonna finish this, and then we're gonna go to goals in the next couple of minutes. Okay. So everybody get their goals together. You still have a couple of minutes before I get to you, but I want you to have your goals together. Okay. Socialization is kind of matched with early message, miseducation about mental illness, myths, lies, and stereotypes. Okay? Cycle reinforced by people, society, and organizations we love and trust. Our family, our friends, our neighbors, school, government, faith community, and mental health system. Okay? How many of us use some of these cycles of reinforcement? I do. Church is, my church family is one of the most important parts of my life. So, in addition to my family, I have a great support system. I have a great support system. School, I can kind of consider this a school. I kind of consider this a school. So, I have a lot of support when I come to the recovery center. I don't know too much about the government being in this conversation, but and my mental health system. I have a great doctor. I have a great mental health doctor. I've had this doctor for a couple of months. The one before her, my favorite doctor was Dr. Klein, and I absolutely loved my doctor. She took great care of me. She made sure that I was on track, prescription-wise, blood level-wise. So, I had everything with this doctor. Now I have a new one, and she's okay, but I love my old doctor. And I want my old doctor back. Okay? Feelings. You have feelings of anger, guilt, confusion, isolation, low self-esteem, and apathy. Okay? Yes.
I usually hear about a word I heard about, like people with like, you ever heard of the term unseen disabilities?
Okay, no.
It's like a phrase for
Oh,
people
yeah.
who have like psychiatric disorders.
Yeah, just, that term was used with me one time, not unseen, but invisible disabilities.
Invisible
Yeah.
disabilities.
Okay. All right. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, I heard it from a friend in my church. Her name is Jean, by the way.
Okay.
And people have unseen disabilities, like people with eating disorders, epilepsy,
Right.
post-traumatic stress disorder,
Okay.
asthma,
Uh-huh.
cancer or something.
Okay.
And so on and so forth.
Okay. All right. So, let's go around the room and ask what our 1 week goal is before we leave.
I don't know.
And we're going to stick with these goals. So, Larry, what's your 1 week goal?
Is to research and educate myself about my mental health and also research about some other things as well.
Okay, very good.
Mental health is concerned.
Okay, very good. Okay. What's going to be your next week goal?
When I go see my doctor on December to ask for some sleeping medication.
Okay, all right. So you're going to address and advocate for yourself.
Yeah.
That's what will be your next week goal, is to advocate for
But I don't
yourself.
see my doctor till December.
Okay, but we're going to work on questions that we need to ask. So let's work on that. Let's work on some questions that we need to ask our doctor.
Okay. Can you
Okay.
help me with that?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Dee Dee! What are you doing over there, Dee Dee?
Putting things up.
Okay.
Takes me a little longer to do things one-handed.
Okay. Give me your 1 week
Mine
goal.
is to try to see 3 or 4 apartments,
Okay.
because my voucher is about to run out.
Okay. You haven't found anything yet?
No, either they don't like my voucher or they're not handicap accessible.
Oh, gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. All right. Bob, give me your 1 week goal.
If I don't do my birthday Catholic prayers and watch Mass on television,
Okay,
I did so this morning. I was falling asleep through a small part of it, constantly closing my eyes and waking up, but still watched the whole Mass.
okay.
But when I attempted to watch Mass at midnight last night, I had to miss that user restroom and I missed it.
Okay, that's cool. All right, Jay, what's gonna be your weekly
I
goal?
want to stay on my current diet regime
Okay.
because my mood is stabilized
Right,
and I'm not drawn towards stuff that makes me sick.
right,
You know, and I'm getting more stuff done around the house, my energy level has risen. So I usually have to eat a certain way to keep my weight down, because I do have a tendency to gain weight very, very easily. I've always
Okay.
been like that.
right.
But I've been eating a little bit more heavier and my body's responding to that well.
Okay,
So that's what I'm gonna stay on. I can always take the weight off later, but right now, you know, I've got my strength back, my brain and mind's kicking in. I'm taking the trash out, I'm cleaning my room, I'm doing everything I need to do, so I'm just gonna be on this diet
one step
until
at a
a little
time.
bit, until after I am able to kind of curb it down so I can trim down a little bit, because it's not good for my joints.
Okay, gotcha. Miss Cece?
To keep my appointments.
Okay, all right. Prince?
I need to ask my doctor about my medicines, and I also need to read this book that I got about health.
Okay,
Telling you about different things with your health.
Okay.
That you could try something.
alternative or?
Yeah, like alternative,
Okay, yeah, all right. All right, Alex, well, what you got?
I mean, I'm a very like closed off person.
Mm-hmm,
So I feel like a lot of my problems are because I put like past demons and scars, you know, just buried them deeply inside me. And
mm-hmm,
I just feel like the black cloud's starting to just follow me around. So I just feel like I need to start like digging deep within and expressing and letting go of a lot of past BS.
yes, you do, you do. You got somebody to help you through that?
No, but I'll figure it out.
You'll figure it out. There are plenty of people, especially facilitators. That's what our job is.
I don't have a support system in my house.
We need to find you a support system. We need to find you some people that you can call when you're at your worst. That's why we make friends here, is when we are at our worst. We have people that we know and we trust. Okay? So I challenge you to get a support system that you can trust. Even if you have to start here. This is where it starts. Okay? Facilitators will be your support system. We have to juggle a lot of things, yes, but we're never too busy to be a support system. We'll never be that busy. Okay? So, having said that, we're out.